Hare Krishna. I am very grateful for this opportunity to try to serve you by speaking the conclusion of the Maha Prakash Leela. By the mercy, the truly divine grace of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Swami Prabhupada, we have this special opportunity to come for this pilgrimage to Mayapur. Srila Prabhupada cited from the scripture, Tatra Tishtami Narada, that wherever devotees come together to chant my holy names, Krishna tells, I am present in that place. Thank you for opening your hearts to receive this invitation that Srila Prabhupada extended to all devotees throughout the world to come together in Sri Mayapur Dham to hear the glories of the Supreme Lord, to chant together in Kirtan, and by doing so, by creating deeper empowerment and intimacy among devotees throughout the lands. Within the Mahaprakash or Satprahariya pastime of Lord Chaitanya, he fulfilled the innermost desires of each and every one of his assembled devotees. Just minutes ago, His Grace Madhavananda Prabhu, our very esteemed director of Bhaktivedanta Hospital, he played a very small recording of Srila Prabhupada. Although it was only for a few seconds that Srila Prabhupada spoke, the spirit and the lesson that it encapsulates is enough to surrender our entire life to. The goal of life of a devotee is to make Krishna happy. But much more than the devotees want to make Krishna happy, Krishna wants to make his devotees happy. And yesterday in Srila Prabhupada's disappearance day observance, we heard from several of my very senior God sisters and God brothers how Srila Prabhupada so personally, as well as philosophically, was concerned with the quality of the devotee's life. that they be happy in Krishna consciousness. When Srila Prabhupada first met with Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, he was given this instruction to bring the message of Lord Chaitanya, the Sankirtan movement, to the whole world in the English language. Srila Prabhupada at that time was very much a part of the movement of Mahatma Gandhi. And that was so much of the accumulated consciousness of the whole land of India. Freedom, independence from a foreign oppressive power. Srila Prabhupada said to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, first we should get independence. Because after all, who's going to take the message of India seriously when we are a subjugated country? Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada's reply that political regimes are always changing. And they always will change. And they always have changed. The real problem of life is birth, old age, disease, and death. As long as we're considering ourselves these bodies, and we are influenced by the false ego of I am the proprietor, I am the controller, I am the enjoyer, there'll always be conflict. The only real solution is to realize we are eternal souls. Real freedom is freedom from the sufferings of birth, old age, disease, and death. The real happiness everyone is seeking is the happiness of the soul, to love God and to feel the infinite presence of God's love. That is Krishna consciousness. It's the only real solution. And Srila Prabhupada took this teaching so seriously. That there are so many who are trying to change the world in so many ways. But they're all just temporary adjustments. Srila Prabhupada used the example of putting a bandage over a blood disease that's killing the body. The solution is we have to go to the root. That is what God consciousness or Krishna consciousness is. And we have been so mercifully entrusted, each and every one of us, to represent this most essential need for all humanity and all living beings. To revive this consciousness that I'm an eternal servant of Krishna. Real wisdom, Bhagavad Gita tells, is to see all living beings with equal vision. Whatever their caste, whatever their sex, whatever their nationality, whatever their political party, whatever their species. Because wherever there's the eternal soul, there's life. And that life is a part of Krishna. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, and Prabhupada quoted him many times, I'm willing to sell all our properties if we can inspire one person to love Krishna. Now obviously, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur kept getting more properties, as did Srila Prabhupada. Here we are in Mayapur. It used to be just a little farm and a rice paddy. And now there's perhaps 10,000 people living here. But we're given this emphatic reminder because the purpose of our properties, the purpose of everything, is to inspire people to love Krishna. If we don't keep our focus very much, then the facilities that Krishna gives us to awaken and share love of Krishna can infatuate our false egos, and they could be things of themselves. Nasta prayesya bhadreshu nityam bhagavati sevaya. We are taught to hear Srimad Bhagavatam every day because material nature is very strong. And she will certainly, not maybe, she will certainly distract our attention from the true purpose and goal of our life unless we're reminding each other. Srila Prabhupada had said, to be Krishna conscious without the association of devotees is an illusion. But what is association of devotees? It is sincere persons from whatever backgrounds of life we may come from who have faith in this principle and who are trying to inspire and protect the faith of each other. Coming on pilgrimage is for this purpose. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was in Navadvip, he actually attracted all of his devotees from every part of the country to come and participate in the Sankirtan movement here in Mayapur town. And when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reached out to the world and made his residence in Jagannath Puri, he invited devotees from Bengal, from all different parts of Orissa, from everywhere, to be together and hear and chant. It was a pilgrimage. Shivananda saying, understanding the Lord's will, he dedicated his entire life to facilitating every devotee company. He literally subsidized everyone for the journey, for the prasad. And when Srila Prabhupada was given this beautiful property in Mayapur Dham from the very beginning, following in the footsteps of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was inviting devotees from all over the world to come together. To leave so many other responsibilities aside, to rejuvenate each other through hearing and chanting and being in the holy place. Srila Prabhupada emphasized when leaders come together, they should discuss unity in diversity. Because every layer of reality we uncover, we discover there's more diversity. But within the limitless diversity of the material and spiritual world, our unity is we are all eternal servants of Krishna. And we are united in the principle of striving to please Krishna. And as Srila Prabhupada spoke in this recording today, Krishna wants to see his devotees happy. In the spiritual world, Krishna has orchestrated everything to make his limitless devotees happy. The whole spiritual world is a manifestation, eternal manifestation of the love of Sri Sri Radha Krishna. And Sri Sri Radha Krishna, they expand themselves into limitless parts and parcels to share this love with each other. Srila Prabhupada, he said, I have shed buckets of blood to bring each and every devotee to Krishna consciousness. That's a beautiful indication of how Krishna, through his supremely surrendered pure devotees, care about each and every devotee. And this Maha Prakash is a transcendentally beautiful manifestation of the devotee's love for Lord Chaitanya and Lord Chaitanya's infinite love for every devotee, which is expressed completely unique and personal to everyone. Vrindavan Das Thakur, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, when they described the Mahaprakash Leela, there were actually many, many devotees who were there. And we're just given information in these scriptures of how Lord Chaitanya gave his mercy to certain individuals. After describing Lord Chaitanya's mercy to Srivas Thakur, Advaitacharya, Kolavecha Sridhar, Murari Gupta, Haridas Thakur. It began with Lord Chaitanya giving Dukhi supreme happiness and transforming her into Sukhi. Then it describes so many devotees. Lord Chaitanya was asked any benediction. And some devotees, quote unquote, my father doesn't allow me to come to the kirtans. Please change his heart and make him into a devotee. Please, for devotees, relatives, conditioned souls who were struggling, they were begging for blessings to be upon them. The most wonderful thing is nobody asks anything for themselves. Please give your mercy, give your love to my disciples, to my gurus, to my children, to my parents, to my friends, to all the conditioned souls. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was fully and perfectly fulfilling all those benedictions. And this was going on for hours and hours and hours. And meanwhile, one very, very beloved devotee to all other devotees, whose name was Mukunda, was not being called. In fact, because he was not being called, he was feeling that he was so offensive, he was actually behind a curtain. And none of the devotees were just coming up by themselves. Lord Chaitanya was calling each one of them individually. But he didn't call Mukunda. Now, from our scripture, it appears that this was at the latter part of the Mahaprakash Lila. So most everybody, every desire that was in their heart was being fulfilled and had been fulfilled. And whatever incarnation of God a person worshipped, Lord Chaitanya was revealing himself in that way. And whatever rasa or particular relationship with God, with Krishna or with God they may have, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was fully reciprocating in that way. But Mukunda felt so humbled and brokenhearted because did I displease Lord Chaitanya? Srivas Thakur, he approached Lord Chaitanya and said, why are you not calling Mukunda? You love Mukunda. Everyone loves Mukunda. And Mukunda loves you unconditionally. He's one of your favorite, most kirtan singers. When he sings kirtan, all devotees' hearts melt. If he's done something wrong, please forgive him, but don't neglect him. To be favored by the Lord or chastised by the Lord is natural. But to be neglected by the Lord breaks a devotee's heart. Mukunda was crying, all the devotees. This is what Sankirtan means. All the devotees got the most precious benedictions and blessings and the ultimate happiness for themselves. But they were all in deep distress because Mukunda was suffering. Shiva said, what has he done? Lord Gauranga replied, do not ever ask on that person's behalf. Lord Chaitanya said, you have heard the saying, with one hand he holds a straw, and with another hand he holds a stick. A person with straw between his teeth comes to touch the feet of a Brahmin, and then with a heavy stick he beats the Brahmin on the head. That is Mukunda. He has gone to be with devotees, and when he's with devotees, he hears and he chants and he praises pure devotional service. But when he's with impersonalists, of people of other groups, he will speak about karma and jnana being superior to bhakti. He has made an offense to bhakti. Mukunda was crying hearing these things. Lord Chaitanya said, therefore, he will not see me. Mukunda cried out, will I ever be able to see the Lord again? Shiva said, Mukunda wants to know if he'll ever be able to see you again. Please let him see you. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, with a thundering voice, he said, he will certainly see me after 10 million births due to his offense against devotional service. Mukunda heard that. 10 million births. He was so happy. He came out from behind the curtain dancing, ecstatic tears pouring from his eyes, crying out, I will see, I will see. After 10 million births, I will see. He had such faith in the words of the Lord. To see the Lord, to be given the mercy of the Lord, is so rare. It is so limitlessly priceless. Premanidhi means the treasure of love of God. Because of our conditioned minds, we have a tendency to see the most priceless things in a very cheap way. And the cheapest things we see as very valuable. Mukunda is willing and completely ecstatic to follow all the regulative principles, to constantly chant the holy names of the Lord, to serve the Lord with his body, mind, words, and life for 10 million births, knowing he'll receive love for Krishna. Some of us, we may have been devotees for 10 years, or even a mere 50 years. And we're thinking, why I don't love Krishna yet? Is there something wrong with the process? Faith is so important. Srila Prabhupada created communities. Lord Chaitanya created communities. Throughout the ages, all the acharyas. Rupa Goswami said that symptom of surrender, enthusiasm and patience. Which means however long it takes. Krishna could give me prema bhakti in one moment, or by Krishna's sweet will, he may give it after 10 million births. Krishna knows what's best. But I have faith in Krishna's words. I have faith in the words of all of his beloved acharyas, the devotees. Manmanabhava madbhakto majad. Become my devotee, worship me, offer homage unto me. Krishna tells, you will come to me without fail. It is my promise. Lord Ramchandra made the same promise. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made the same promise. He's not saying when. Surrender means, Krishna, I'm yours. And the spirit of humility, I never deserve it. Whatever may be, internally or externally, Krishna, I'm yours. To be enthusiastic, to serve Krishna, to please Krishna, to follow Krishna's will under all circumstances. Lord Chaitanya taught this is the principle of chanting the holy names. Na dhanam na janam na sundarim kavitam va jagadisha kamaye. Mama janmani janmani shuri bhavatad bhakti rahoiti kidvai. Krishna, I do not want wealth or fame, prestige. I do not want the gratification of the senses. I do not even want mystic cities or liberation. I simply want to serve and please you in whatever condition you put me in, birth after birth after birth. It's very important that we come together to refresh our understanding of what the value of Krishna consciousness is. Every moment that we're sincerely trying to please Krishna, Krishna's there to reciprocate with us. And Krishna's eternal. That means any moment in our life where we're sincerely trying to please Krishna, hearing his glories, chanting his names, appreciating his devotees, serving his desires, that moment is eternity. It's beyond time. The gopis in their love for Krishna are thinking when the eyelids blink, it seems like 12 years or more. In this sense, in the spirit of devotion, time actually is eternal. Krishna is beyond time. When we're surrendering to Krishna through our life, our actions, that moment is beyond time. So this is the spirit of Mukunda. And we have to take these stories seriously if we want to make spiritual progress. If you were to be told, follow these principles of Krishna consciousness with all your heart, and you will be given love for Krishna after 10 million births. Would you be dancing in ecstasy? That's the difference between us and Mukunda. Krishna, you could show me yourself to me whenever you want. I am simply here to serve you. So he was dancing, and he was crying, and he was calling out, I will see, I will see. And when Lord Chaitanya saw this, he was so happy. He was so happy with the faith that Mukunda had in his words and the value that Mukunda was appreciating seeing him. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who's sitting on the throne of Vishnu, he smiled. He said, bring Mukunda immediately. He said, Mukunda, come now. But Mukunda was so much in the ecstatic trance of thinking he will get to see Lord Chaitanya after 10 million births. He was not hearing anything of this world. He was just, I will see, I will see. Lord Chaitanya told the devotees, bring him. And they said, Mukunda, and he was dancing. They picked him up and they brought him right in front of Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya was gazing upon him. And Mukunda bowed down at the lotus feet of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Lord Chaitanya, he said, because you had faith in my words, all of your offenses has disappeared. And Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur describes that when Lord Chaitanya was performing the Satvarahariya Leela, he was revealing devotees' past lives and also earlier in their own lives. And when Mukunda, many years before, he was in the association of people and a particular guru who was actually teaching in such a way that he was minimizing bhakti or devotional service. And because Mukunda was in that association hearing it, Lord Chaitanya remembered that. And Mukunda, he was also reminded of it. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, just because you had faith in my words, all of your offenses have completely disappeared. And then Lord Chaitanya went even deeper. He said, actually, Mukunda, you never made any offenses. I was just joking. But that joke is a very serious lesson to all of us. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Mukunda, any benediction you like. Mukunda offered prayer. He said, I am so unqualified because I have no true devotion. But still, you're allowing me to see you. You're allowing me to have the highest happiness in seeing you. But without devotion, even if a person sees you, he will not feel happy. Why? Why, my Lord, are you giving me so much happiness? Duryodhana, he saw you, and he didn't feel any happiness at all. He's referring to the time when Yudhisthira Maharaj asked Krishna to be his messenger. And Krishna was sending messages on behalf of Yudhisthira Maharaj. He went to Duryodhana's palace to try to negotiate so there wouldn't be this battle in Kurukshetra. You know, you give us part of the kingdom, you have part of the kingdom, and we could live like brothers. But Duryodhana was so greedy and so obsessed with his ego and so envious. He considered Krishna a threat. Duryodhana instructed his military to arrest Krishna. And when they were coming to arrest him, Krishna manifested his universal form. Duryodhana is not only seeing Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the possessor of all six opulences forever and full, but he's seeing Krishna manifest a universal form of Virat Rupa. And yet Duryodhana was not happy at all. In fact, he and practically his whole dynasty were destroyed because he did not have bhakti yoga, devotion. When Krishna was called by the prayers and the message of Rukmini, Krishna was coming on his bird carrier Garuda, and Rukma and all these other kings, they were seeing Krishna riding on Garuda, but they felt no happiness. They attacked Krishna. And ultimately they were all destroyed because they had no devotion. Your beautiful form of Varaha, when Mother Earth was taken off of her orbit and put in the bottom of a sea, with the prayers of the sages and the devatas and Mother Earth herself, you manifested this awesome, beautiful form of Varaha. And you dove down into the sea and lifted the earth with your tusks. Can any of us even imagine seeing this form of the Lord before our eyes? Hiranyaksha saw the form, and he was feeling no happiness at all, because there was envy in his heart, because there was arrogance in his heart, because he didn't have true devotion. And Hiranyaksha's elder brother, Hiranyakashipu, he was standing in the most magnificent darshan of Lord Narasimhadev. Hiranyakashipu, because he was offensive to the devotee Prahlad, because he didn't have devotion, he felt hatred for the Lord. He did not feel happiness. Mukunda Das continues. Kubja was just a very simple hunchback lady who was just doing a menial service. But she felt ecstatic happiness upon seeing you. And the Yagnapatnis, they felt supreme ecstatic bliss upon seeing you. The ladies of Mathura on their rooftops when you came into the city, their love of God, their ananda, their ecstasy awakened. And that simple garland maker, when you came and asked him for a garland, he was so happy to see you. He gave you garland and you gave him ecstatic liberation and love of God. In the same place as Kubja and the garland maker and the ladies of Mathura, in the same very place Kamsa saw you. But he had no happiness, because he had no bhakti. Mukunda Das, he said, still, I have no real bhakti at all, but yet by your causeless mercy, I am feeling such great happiness seeing you. By the power of Bhakti, Ananta is supporting all the worlds while he's chanting your holy names. By the power of Bhakti, Lord Shiva invokes and bestows auspiciousness upon his devotees. By the power of Bhakti, Narada Muni is traveling throughout the universe endlessly chanting your names and glories. Vyasadeva had compiled numerous Vedic literatures, but still he was not feeling that true happiness in his heart until Narada Muni, his guru, told him, you should glorify in one literature exclusively pure bhakti. And thus he compiled the Srimad Bhagavatam. And not only did he feel the ultimate happiness, but he was sharing the ultimate happiness with everyone. Mukunda said, I am insignificant. I'm like a worm. But still, by your causeless mercy, I am feeling happiness upon seeing you. Lord Chaitanya was so pleased with the genuine humility and devotion of Mukunda Datta. He said, whatever you have spoken is true. When I was in Mathura, there was a washerman. This washerman did thousands of births of austerities, tapasya, following regulative principles, yogic practices, to get the benediction of seeing me. But because he did not have devotion, when the fruit of all his lifetimes of religious practices came upon him, he saw me, but there was no happiness. Krishna reciprocates according to our devotion, according to our surrender. Essentially, in bhakti, the idea of surrender is we're putting everything else aside, or we're harmonizing everything in such a way to please Krishna. This washerman, when Krishna asked him for some cloth, he blasphemed Krishna. Krishna is within the deity. Not only is he within the deity, he is the deity. It was spoken yesterday. Her Grace Dina Tarani Devi was speaking about Her Grace, our worshipped God Sister Yamuna Devi, when she came to Delhi, and Srila Prabhupada, why are you not taking such good care of the deities? Of course, she had nothing to do with it, but Srila Prabhupada wanted her to take responsibility, to guide, to encourage, and to teach others. if we don't serve the deity with faith, then Krishna he's in the deity. He's there, 100%. But we will only see wood or stone. But if we worship him with love, he reveals himself as the all-beautiful, all-merciful, Supreme Personality of Godhead. Namachintamani Krishna. Krishna is his holy names. Srimati Radharani is her holy name. Nam Namakari Bahudhani Sarva Shaktis. All the power and the glory and the beauty and the mercy and the love of God is within the name of God. But according to how we're pleasing Krishna, Krishna gives us a taste, a happiness in chanting the holy names. The example is given by Lord Chaitanya and Srila Prabhupada, cited many times. If you're eating sugar, it's sweet. But if you have jaundice, it tastes bitter. The sugar isn't bitter, but our perception is. And in the path of devotional service, the goal and the process by which we achieve the goal is essentially the same. The goal is to love Krishna and serve Krishna. And the process is in striving to serve Krishna and love Krishna. Prabhupada was asked, what will you get from chanting the holy names of Krishna? He said, we will chant the holy names of Krishna. Golokera Premadana Harinama Sankirtan. We're chanting the holy names to purify ourselves because Krishna and his name is all pure. And when we become completely purified in the spiritual world for all of eternity, we will blissfully be chanting together the holy names. Then Lord Chaitanya fulfilled Mukunda Datta's innermost desire. He said, I place pure devotional service in your heart. And I give you this benediction. Whenever you sing, all the devotees' hearts will melt. And you will forever be dear to me, and you will forever be dear to all devotees. And Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur describes anyone who hears this story with sincere faith will very soon feel the happiness of seeing Krishna. Toward the end of Prakash Lila, there's a beautiful narration where Lord Chaitanya, after taking prasad, he personally gave the plate of his remnants to a little 4-year-old girl named Narayani. And all the devotees were so happy. Narayani happened to be the niece of Srivas Thakur. And she also happened to be the mother of Vrindavan Das Thakur, who was the author of this great literature we are citing. The devotees were so happy to see this little girl honoring the prasad that Lord Chaitanya had taken. And as she was eating prasad, Lord Chaitanya said to her, Narayani, chant the name of Krishna and cry in ecstasy. And with that benediction, she didn't even ask for anything. She's just a tiny little girl. With that benediction, she achieved the ultimate fulfillment of the greatest blessing that the soul can receive. Eternal ecstatic prema, love for Krishna. She fell to the ground, crying out, Krishna, 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 weeping, with tears flowing like Mother Ganga from her eyes. And Vrindavan Das Thakur, talking about his mother with such affection, he describes she is famous even today as one who has received the supreme mercy and blessings of the Lord. So these beautiful pastimes in the house of Srivas were behind closed doors. Only those people who had the purest, most surrendered, devoted hearts were given entrance, because only they could actually comprehend and understand and appreciate the spiritual relationships that the Lord was sharing with all devotees. One day, suddenly, Lord Chaitanya spoke. Hear from me, Nityananda Prabhu. Hear from me, Thakur Haridas. I order you to go out to preach everywhere my message. Chant the names and glories of Krishna. Worship Krishna. Follow the teachings of Krishna. Go to each and every home, to each and every person. Do not discriminate who is fit or unfit, and give them this message. Krishna's your mother. Krishna's your father. Krishna's your real wealth. Krishna's your life and soul. Chant the names of Krishna. And then each and every day, at the end of the day, you come and report to me everything that is happening. Lord Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur smiled. And Nityananda Prabhu is Balaram. The source of all incarnations. And Haridas Thakur is the father, the grandfather of every living being within the entire universe, Brahma. And yet, on Lord Chaitanya's order, they're going house to house, shop to shop, as beggars. They were in the dress of the renounced order of life. And they would come. This is the only thing we ask of you. Some pious people would invite them, come in and honor Prasad. And Nityananda and Haridas say, the only thing we asked, chant the names of Krishna, worship Krishna, follow Krishna's teachings. Krishna's your mother, your father, your wealth and your life and soul. If you chant the name of Krishna, you will be my life and soul. And many pious people, hearing this message coming from them, they were so receptive. They said, I will, I will. And when they accepted this instruction, Lord Nityananda Prabhu was so happy, sometimes he would embrace them. If you accept Lord Chaitanya's instruction, you are my life and soul. This spirit of compassion, to such great souls, the greatest thing we could give to them is simply to receive what they're giving to us. That was Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas's mercy. Yet some people who were impious, and especially those who were not allowed in Srivasa's house because they were not qualified, they were so angry and so upset. Yes, many people in Navadvip, when Haridas and Nityananda came to their doorstep, they chastised them. Who are you to tell me what we should do? Others would say, they're spies. They're actually coming to our homes or our shops and they're looking around to see what's there, and then they will report to their master, who's a dacoit and a thief, and then they will come and plunder our homes. Some would call them thieves. Some would scream at them that they were hypocrites. Others would challenge, beat them, beat them. Others would say, let us report them to the king and have them arrested and put in prison. We will file charges. And yet Nityananda and Haridas, they would smile. They would not retaliate. Whatever you may think, we beg you, please take the name of Krishna. Lochan Das Thakur, in his beautiful song, he describes how Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur, they would put straw between their teeth and go to the most fallen, conditioned people and beg them to take the name of Krishna. And even if they were criticized, challenged, or rejected, Sometimes they would roll in the ground, take the dust of these people's feet and beg them, I don't mind what you say or do, but worship Krishna. And many's hearts would melt. We read about Lord Balaram, his powers. An expansion of him, Anantashesha's carrying the planets and the universes. An insignificant potency of the energy of Nityananda is the laws of gravity that we're all being controlled by, and all planets are being controlled by. When all the great warriors of the Kuru dynasty minimized Krishna, Balaram, with one stroke of his plow, separated the whole Hastinapur from the earth and was about to destroy it all by dragging it into the river. When he saw the hypocrisy of Romaharshan Sutta, with one single blade of grass he ended his life. Now that same personality is taking that grass between his teeth and going to the most fallen people and begging and pleading and crying, I only ask one thing. Be happy in your eternal loving relationship with Krishna by chanting the holy names. And every evening they would return to Lord Chaitanya and give their report. One day, actually the reason I'm telling this story, this morning I had no idea what I was going to talk about after Maha Prakash Leela, but I turned on a tape of Srila Prabhupada recording in a lecture he gave in Mayapur Dham. And he beautifully told the story of the deliverance of Jagai and Madhai. So that's why I'm telling you the story. Dinahina yata chilo harinamu tharilo tara sakshai Jagai Madhai. That the glories and the powers and the mercy of the holy names and the Sankirtan movement is so beautifully depicted in this event of the deliverance of Jagai and Madhai. So one day, Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur, as they were going house to house, they happened to see on the street a crowd of people. This crowd was quite a distance from two brothers. They were gigantic people, ferocious people, and completely intoxicated by drinking all sorts of wines. And in their intoxication, they were speaking such obscene words. They were screaming at each other. They were even beating each other. And nobody would come close to them. Nityananda Prabhu asked one of the people, who are they? What is their background? The people explained their names are Jagai and Madhai. They're actually coming from very highly respected Brahmin families here in Navadvip. But due to bad association from their earliest childhood, they are cruel, arrogant, and always intoxicated. They plunder people's homes. They kill people. They kill cows. They eat them. And everybody in Nadia is afraid that they will come to burn their house down. Upon hearing Lord Nityananda Prabhu, actually Vrindavan Das Thakur describes Jagai and Madhai committed every type of sin imaginable, except they never blasphemed a devotee. The reason is they were so addicted to bad association, they never associated with a devotee. And in this section of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat is much instruction. Sinful activity is very, very terrible. But unnecessary criticism, blasphemy, or offense to devotee is what gives most pain to Krishna. Actually, causing unnecessary pain to any living entity causes pain to Krishna. Lord Chaitanya tells the story of Magrari. He was a hunter who would cause innocent animals so much suffering before they would die. But in the association of Narada Muni, and under his guidance, chanting the holy names and giving up his sinful activities, he was so attentive to not cause the slightest harm to even a single ant. Because he was seeing that with the life force of this little ant is part of Krishna, a child of Krishna. To love Krishna is to love those who Krishna loves, and Krishna loves everyone. But Krishna reciprocates it and is most dear and endeared to those devotees who are giving their hearts to his loving service. When Nityananda Prabhu heard the background of Jagai and Madhai, he contemplated that Lord Chaitanya has incarnated as Patita Pavana avatar to deliver the most sinful and the most unqualified and the most fallen. And there is no one on the earth who is more unqualified and sinful than this Jagai and Madhai. If they become devotees and chant the holy names and become purified, if they learn to love Krishna by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's fame will be spread throughout all the land. Nityananda Prabhu contemplated, now, if someone is touched by the shadow of Jagai and Madhai, they will feel so contaminated they will jump in the Ganges to purify themselves. But if they receive the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, then anyone who sees Jagai and Madhai will feel that they have just taken thousands of baths in the river Ganges. Lord Nityananda Prabhu disclosed his thinking to Haridas Thakur. Haridas said, because you have already decided to give your mercy to them, they are already delivered. Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur, they started walking to give the order of Lord Chaitanya to Jagai and Madhai. The people all around, they were crying out to Lord Nityananda and Haridas, don't go there. These people are cruel. They are powerful. They're not going to listen to whatever you say. They don't care if you're renunciates. They're going to beat you. They may kill you. While getting all these very, very serious warnings, Nitai and Haridas smiled, and they walked right up to Jagai and Madhai. Nityananda Prabhu, in a very loud, thunderous voice, he begged them, my brothers, chant the holy names of Krishna. Worship Krishna. Follow the teachings of Krishna. Krishna is your true mother and father. Krishna is your real treasure of life. He's your life and soul. Chant Krishna's holy names. Jagai and Madhai looked up at Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas. Their eyes were blazing red in fury. In anger, they shouted out, "Catch them, catch them!" And they ran to beat, perhaps kill Haridas and Nityananda Prabhu. Now here is the all-powerful, supreme absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, Balaram and Lord Brahma. What did they do when these two dacoits attacked? Very instructive. They ran away. And they were very fast runners. And Jagai and Madhai, with all their strength, were chasing after to beat them. They were crying out, "Catch them, beat them, kill them!" And Nityananda and Haridas were running and running, and they were running. As they were running, Lord Nityananda Prabhu said to Haridas, "They're trying to kill us. We are very lucky that we got away." he said to Haridas that you were beaten by those Yavanas through those 22 marketplaces, and still you were praying for your oppressors to be delivered. So please pray for the well-being of these two. Haridas replied, I was saved from the beatings of the Yavanas, but today it appears that my life will end. Because I'm associating with such a restless person as you. We were warned these people were serious dacoits. And actually in the lecture I heard today of Srila Prabhupada, he was talking about Jagai and Madhai as being dacoits. And he said, here in Mayapur the devotees have experience of dacoits. He said there are dacoits everywhere. Very cruel, egoistic, arrogant people who are very violent. Why? Because they put their own ego in the center of their lives. Nityananda Prabhu replied to Haridas. He said, why are you calling me restless? It's not me that's restless. It's your master, Lord Gauranga. He's restless. He's a Brahmin from a poor family, and he's giving orders like a king. Who has ever given an order like this? He's ordering us to go to every house, to every shop, to every bathing gap, and without considering who's fit or unfit, to beg them and plead with them to chant the holy names of Krishna. No one has ever given instruction like this. If we follow it, we will be ruined. And if we don't follow it, we will be ruined. But it is your master who is restless. After a long chase, Jagai and Madhai became so exhausted they fell to the ground. And they were so eager to severely beat Lord Nityananda and Haridas Thakur. They started dovetailing their propensities and severely beating each other. So Lord Nityananda and Haridas came to Srivasangam to report to Lord Chaitanya about their day. And they described their encounter with Jagai and Madhai. Lord Chaitanya asked, how is it that they're Brahmins and they could be so cruel and so fallen? Srivas Thakur and Gangadas Pandit, they describe some of the background. They are coming from families, both the mother side and the father side, who for generations and generations were very highly respected and honored as pious, learned, saintly Brahmins. But due to bad association, now there is no sins, there is no crimes that they're not willing to commit at any time. Lord Nityananda Prabhu, he said to Lord Chaitanya that if we deliver them, we could deliver everyone. Please show your mercy upon them. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said to Lord Nityananda, because you are concerned with their well-being, they're already delivered. Meanwhile, Haridas said to Sri Advaitacharya, you cannot imagine what it's like traveling and preaching with Nityananda Prabhu. He's so restless, and he gets me in so much trouble. Sometimes during the monsoon rainy season when the Ganga is flooding over, and there's groups of gigantic man-eating crocodiles, Lord Nityananda Prabhu will jump into the Ganges and grab the tails of the crocodiles. And I will be on the bank of the river crying out, Nitai, Nitai, come back, and he'll be trying to ride on the crocodiles. Sometimes he becomes like a little boy and he goes into somebody's house and steals their milk. Or sometimes he milks somebody's cows and drinks it. And then the person who's the householder comes with a stick to beat Nityananda Prabhu, and Nityananda Prabhu's gone, and then he comes and attacks me. And he gave many examples. And today, he goes up to Jagai and Madhai. They're completely intoxicated, and they're cruel, and they're violent, and they're burning people's houses down every day. And he's asking them to worship Krishna and chant the names of Krishna. And today they chased to kill us. And somehow or other we got away. When Advaitacharya heard this, he roared in laughter. He said, why are you astonished by this? Drunk people like to be with other drunk people. Jagai and Madhai are drunk with all these wines. And Nityananda Prabhu is drunk with ecstatic love of God. So it's natural that they want to be together. And then Advaitacharya began to dance. And he said, you will see the power of Lord Nityananda. In 2 or 3 days, Jagai and Madhai will be part of the assembly of great devotees, dancing together with us, ecstatically in love of God, chanting Krishna's holy name. The people of Nadia had great fear of the violence and the evil of Jagai and Madhai. One night, in a secluded place, Nityananda Prabhu walked right up to Jagai and Madhai with the same request. Jagai and Madhai challenged him. Who are you? Who are you? Nityananda Prabhu said, I'm on my way to my Lord's house. Jagai and Madhai said, what is your name? And he smiled like a child and said, Avaduta. That innocence infuriated Madhai. He lifted up a large clay pot and he crashed it onto the top of the head of Nityananda Prabhu. The pot broke. Nityananda Prabhu's head profusely was bleeding. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur tells Nityananda Prabhu's whole body was soaked and covered with blood from his own head. Nitai, with such kindness, he spoke to Jagai and Madhai. I don't mind what you've done. But Nityananda Prabhu was feeling pained to see their ignorance. Please take the name of Krishna and be happy. I forgive you. Madhai was so angry, he picked up another pot and was about to smash it upon the head of Nityananda Prabhu. But seeing the love and the kindness of Nityananda Prabhu, Jagai's heart melted. And he grabbed the hand of Madhai and said, don't hit him again. He's just a simple renunciate. He's so kind. Don't harm him. But not Madhai was infuriated. Meanwhile, some of the people ran to tell Lord Chaitanya what was happening. Within a moment, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, surrounded by his devotees, came to the site. Madhai had his pot about to hit Nityananda Prabhu in the head again. And Nityananda Prabhu's head is bleeding, covering his body. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada describes this story. His eyes became red like hot coals. And he lifted his hand and cried, Chakra, Chakra. And within an instant, the Sudarshan Chakra, the ultimate weapon of God, appeared on Lord Chaitanya's hand. We read about the anger of Lord Narasimhadev because his devotee Prahlad was being persecuted by Hiranyakashipu. Here is the very source of all avatars, including Narasimhadev, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who's seeing his most beloved devotee covered with blood. His anger was unlimited. And the Sudarshan Chakra, that flaming weapon, was about to sever Jagai and Madhai's heads. And Nityananda Prabhu was standing right between Madhai and Lord Chaitanya. And he was praying to Lord Chaitanya, please forgive them. Actually, it doesn't even hurt. Some blood might be there, but it doesn't even hurt. You have incarnated to give mercy to the most fallen. Give your mercy to Jagai and Madhai. This is my prayer. Lord Chaitanya was so upset. Until Nityananda Prabhu said, Jagai saved my life. Madhai would have hit me again, but Jagai stopped him. As soon as he said that, Lord Chaitanya became ecstatic. And he looked at Jagai and said, you protected my Nitai? I pray to Krishna to give you eternal ecstatic love and devotion. Because you have served my devotee, you have purchased me. I am yours. And with those words and with his loving glance, Jagai became a pure devotee of the Lord. Love of God awakened in his heart and he fell unconscious in ecstasy. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he touched Jagai and told him to rise. And when Jagai opened his eyes, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu manifested to him his four-arm form, holding a club and the Sudarshan chakra and a lotus flower and a conch shell, gazing upon Jagai with such love. And then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu placed his lotus foot on Jagai's chest, while revealing this beautiful darshan of the opulence of the absolute truth. Jagai clasped his lotus feet, crying in spiritual ecstasy. Meanwhile, while this was happening, Jagai and Madhai, everything that they did, they always did together. They were so united in their cruelty and sinful activities that they practically had the same, they were like two in one. When Madhai saw that Jagai was having darshan of the all-beautiful Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he was crying in ecstatic love of God, and he realized Lord Chaitanya was about to sever his head with the Sudarshan chakra, Madhai became transformed just by seeing his brother. He said to Lord Chaitanya, whatever he's ever done, I've done. And whatever I've ever done, he's done. So if you're giving him your mercy, please give me your mercy. You're giving him ecstatic love of God. Please give me ecstatic love of God. You've transformed him. Please transform me. I will surrender to you just like he is, and I will chant your holy names. Although Lord Chaitanya was speaking with such sweet kindness to Jagai, to Madhai, with thunderous anger, he said, you will be destroyed. You have caused pain to Nityananda Prabhu. And Madhai, he's coming from a Brahmin background. He never believed anything, but now he was starting to believe things. He said, you are all merciful. So many demons have shot arrows into you and have cut you and so many things, and still you give them mercy when they surrender to you. Lord Chaitanya said, yes, but Nityananda Prabhu's body is more dear to me than my own. I cannot forgive you for your offenses to Nityananda Prabhu. Madhai, with all sincerity and humility in his heart, he prayed, how can I be delivered? How can I receive your mercy? Lord Gauranga Mahaprabhu said, because you made an offense to the devotee Nityananda Prabhu, he is the only one who can forgive you. With a sincere and humble heart, fall at his feet, and if he forgives you, you can be delivered. Madhai fell at the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, crying and praying for forgiveness. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said to Nityananda Prabhu, forgive him. Now you may forgive him. That is his only hope. Lord Nityananda Prabhu, in the role of a devotee, he said, I cannot deliver anyone. I am simply your representative. But you are so merciful, Lord Gauranga, that you can give your mercy to deliver even through a tree. Lord Nityananda prayed to Lord Chaitanya, if ever I have performed any pious activities, if I have ever done anything good, my only prayer, allow all of the credits of all of my goodness be given to Madhai, so that he can be forgiven from his offenses. Srila Prabhupada explains it this way. The Lord Nityananda said, if you're going to kill Madhai, then we might as well kill everybody. Because in this age of Kali Yuga, more or less everyone's a Jagai and Madhai. In previous incarnations, you killed with your chakra and with other such weapons. But we have come in this incarnation with mercy, with the holy names of Krishna, with the limbs of the Bhakti. We have come to kill the demoniac tendency in people's hearts and give them love for Krishna. Nityananda Prabhu, covered with blood, is praying and begging Lord Chaitanya to give mercy and love of God to Madhai. Lord Chaitanya said to Nityananda Prabhu, seeing that Madhai was sincerely taking shelter, he said, if you embrace him, he will be delivered. Nityananda Prabhu, ever so happy, lifted up Madhai and embraced him. And his own intimate qualities of bhava entered into the body of Madhai. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave a simple instruction to Jagai and Madhai. Do not commit any other sinful activities. And Jagai and Madhai very enthusiastically, they vowed. we will not ever commit any sinful activity. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave such mercy through Lord Nityananda to Jagai and Madhai. They became so enraptured in spiritual emotion that they both fainted. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told the devotees, pick them up and bring them to my house, and we will have kirtan together. They brought Jagai and Madhai to Lord Chaitanya's home. Lord Chaitanya was sitting with Nityananda Prabhu on one side and Gadadhar Pandit on another. And Advaitacharya was sitting in front of the Lord. In the presence of Jagai and Madhai, the devotees were offering prayers to Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. Their great mercy upon these two most dangerous and vicious dacoits. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, never consider them dacoits again. Now they are my servants. Now they are pure devotees. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, because they have surrendered, I have taken all their sins. Do you want to see? Suddenly Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's body consumed all the sins of Jagai and Madhai. It became a very darkish color. It was quite shocking. Lord Chaitanya turned to Advaitacharya and said, what do you see? Advaita said, your body has become very beautiful like Gokul Chandra, like the moon of Gokul. Lord Chaitanya laughed and he said, oh, I have manifested within my body all the sins of all the previous lives of Jagai and Madhai, just to prove to you that now they are completely pure devotees. He said, now, to remove these sins from my body, everyone chant the holy names. And he said, and in this kirtan, all the sins will be removed, and where they will go? They will go to whoever blasphemes a devotee of the Lord. Very emphatic instruction. At that moment, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told all the devotees that you should fully forgive Jagai and Madhai for anything they have done to you or anyone else, and bestow your complete compassion upon them. And in this way, they all chanted the holy names of the Lord in kirtan. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's in the kirtan, his complexion became beautiful, splendor as molten gold once again. It's so important to focus on this one principle, that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it wasn't just he and Nityananda Prabhu that showed mercy to Jagai and Madhai. He's appealing to every devotee to show compassion to them. And they all did that. And feeling so grateful for the mercy of all the devotees' good wishes, Jagai and Madhai, with the deepest humility and gratitude, clasped the feet and bathed the feet of every devotee with their tears, surrendering to every Vaishnav. Meanwhile, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's beloved mother Sachi Devi and his wife Vishnu Priya, they were watching this whole wonderful pastime of the kirtan of the deliverance of Jagai and Madhai. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu declared for all of us to hear. Previously, if anyone were to come anywhere near Jagai and Madhai, they would feel so polluted they would jump in the Ganges. Now just seeing them is like bathing in the Ganges. Anyone who offers food with devotion to Jagai and Madhai, through the mouth of Jagai and Madhai, Krishna will taste nectar. Mad Bhakta Puja Vyadhika. When we offer service to the Lord's devotees, Krishna is even more pleased than when we offer directly. That is the word of Krishna. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, in his commentary, he's quoting from various scriptures that when we offered food to a pure-hearted Vaishnava, a devotee, Krishna personally, he eats nectar. He eats through the mouth of the devotee and tastes our offering to a Vaishnav to be nectar. They had a wonderful kirtan, and in this kirtan, Jagai and Madhai were dancing among the devotees. And as they were dancing, there was no high or there was no low. It was all just unified congregational chanting, where everyone was with one heart and one voice chanting the holy names. And Jagai and Madhai became an intimate part of Lord Chaitanya's inner circle of devotees. After the kirtan, they all went to Ganga to bathe. And very playfully, Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, Dvaita Gadadhar, Pundarik Vidyanidhi, Murari Kuta, Srivas, Ram, Chowpatty, Srinidhi, Gangadas Pandit, Suklambar, Brahmachari, all the devotees were bathing together, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in such a playful mood. He was splashing and playing in the waters of the Ganges, and they were all having such a wonderful time. They were celebrating the deliverance of these two dacoits. And when they came out of the river, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took his own garlands and placed them on the necks of Jagai and Madhai. Then Lord Chaitanya went home And Sachimata and Vishnupriya gave him wonderful prasad, and he took rest. Meanwhile, the demigods, they were astounded. They had never seen such an abundance of the most intimate mercy given to such demons. Our acharyas actually explain there was Ravana and Kumbhakarna. There was Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. And there was Shishupal and Dantavakra. And those same demons incarnated again in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes as Jagai and Madhai. They had that same demoniac quality as Ravana, Kumbhakarna, Hiranyakashipu, and Hiranyaksha. They were all liberated through the arrows or the nails or the tusks of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But that same level of demoniac evil, Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, they didn't kill them. They purified them and made them more most intimate associates in the Sankirtan movement. The demigods had never seen this, and they've seen all the others' incarnations. They were praising the glories of Lord Gauranga and Lord Nityananda. Yamaraj asked his minister, secretary, Chitragupta, I have not seen such mercy extended to anyone. Please tell me the extent of the sinful activities of Jagai and Madhai. Chitragupta was flustered just thinking about how to report it. He said, it's not possible. He said, we have a whole ministry, a whole department of messengers and scribes trying to keep track of the sinful, immoral, cruel activities of Jagai and Madhai. But they can't. He said, there are 100,000 messengers and scribes trying to keep track. And they're all exhausted to the point of death because they can't keep up with it. But now Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda has taken that whole massive file. Even the most powerful computer could not keep the data of Jagai and Madhai. They have reduced all those sins to a simple little mustard seed and thrown it away. Now they're liberated. They're pure devotees chanting and dancing with the Lord. We can take all these mountains and mountains and mountains of files and just throw them all in the ocean. That is the glory of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. When Yamaraj heard this, and this is Yamaraj, the son of Surya, the sun god, when he heard the extent of Gaur Nitai's mercy, he fell unconscious. in ecstasy in his chariot. And there were no symptoms of life. Chitragupta, his secretary, had his hands at his feet, and he was crying, trying to revive him. And meanwhile, other demigods, Brahma and Shiva and Indra and Surya and Agni, they were all coming to see the great mercy that Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda had bestowed upon Jagai and Madhai. And when they saw Yamaraj laying there, apparently dead, they asked Chitragupta what happened. And he explained. He fainted because he was in such ecstasy hearing about the causeless mercy of the Lord. Lord Brahma and Shiva loudly chanted in both of his ears the names of Lord Gauranga. Yamaraj came back to consciousness. And while meditating on the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, Yamaraj began to dance, completely oblivious to this external world. He was dancing in celebration and appreciation of the Lord's mercy. And sing the very, very awesome, esteemed personality of Yamaraj dancing like this is something no demigod has ever even witnessed. Lord Brahma began to dance with all of his assistants, Bhrigu Muni and Kashyapa Muni and Manu, Daksha. They were all dancing, glorifying Lord Gauranga and Lord Nityananda. Lord Shiva, along with Ganesh, Kartikeya, and all of their followers were dancing, chanting the holy names of Lord Gauranga. Narada Muni was dancing, celebrating so much, he became so astonished by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. As he was dancing and chanting Gauranga, he lost his veena. Sukadev Goswami, he was dancing and chanting, celebrating the Lord's mercy in such a way, in such an intoxicated state. Sukadev Goswami began to chant the holy names of Jagai and Madhai. Indra, I don't want to go into details about how he has so many eyes, but all of his eyes were weeping and crying to see Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda's mercy. And because there was so many floods of tears coming from each of his eyes, he actually thought the curse that he had was actually a blessing, that he could cry so abundantly. And meanwhile, Ananta and Garuda began dancing together, and the demigods in the sky, they were all induced by the mercy upon Jagai and Madhai to have not just an international society kirtan, but a universal kirtan. The devatas from all the different planets, Satya Loka and Shiva Loka and Indra Loka, they all came to Mayapur. We have all come from different parts of the world to Mayapur to chant and dance together. But under the influence of the deliverance of these two evil dacoits of Jagai and Madhai, to celebrate that mercy, the greatest devotees and demigods from all the planets of the universe were coming to chant and dance here in Mayapur town. although all the devotees were bestowing so much kindness, friendship, love, compassion upon Jagai and Madhai, still they were repenting all the pain and suffering they caused upon others. And especially Madhai could not get out of his heart and mind that he tried to kill Nityananda Prabhu. He smashed him on the head and caused him to bleed profusely. He was overwhelmed with shame. And even though he was a pure devotee with ecstatic love for Krishna, and he was an intimate associate of the Lord and all the devotees, still in his humility, his mind was overwhelmed. What I have done to Lord Nityananda, and what I have done to so many others. One day Lord Nityananda Prabhu approached him in a private place. And Madhai fell at Lord Nityananda's feet and was crying. He said, I have caused so much pain to you. Lord Nityananda smiled. He said, if a little baby child hits his mother, the mother doesn't feel much pain. You're my little child. Whatever you did to me, it's just like that. I completely, unconditionally forgive you. Be happy. Madhai said, you are all merciful. You have forgiven me. But I caused so much pain to so many people, and I was in such a drunken state, I don't even know who I caused pain to, so I don't even know who to beg forgiveness from. What can I do? Great devotees never feel that they're great devotees. The greater we are, the more we feel like ordinary, insignificant servants of the Lord. That's the principle that Lord Chaitanya and his associates have taught us. Lord Nityananda Prabhu gave Madhai an instruction. Everyone likes to bathe in Mother Ganges. With your own hands, make a special ghat, which is a beautiful bathing place for people to come to take shelter of Ganga. And keep it spotlessly clean so that you could welcome everyone. And whoever comes to bathe in the Ganga, offer your obeisance to them, serve them, and make them happy, and you will be forgiven by everyone. Madhai took this instruction as his life and soul. For his life. Jagai and Madhai chanted at least 2,200,000 names of Krishna every day. And in the humblest, most sincere way served not only all the devotees, but everyone. The whole public. Hundreds and hundreds of people. It was becoming a most popular bathing ghat. It's very interesting how Madhai kept it so meticulously, spotlessly clean. Because it was a personal expression of his serving and welcoming the devotees to come. Sometimes devotees, due to some habits or whatever, we don't think cleanliness is so important because we're so busy with other devotional ideas. When I was a pujari, I was a aspiring student of His Grace Jananivas Prabhu. Srila Prabhupada actually sent me a message that I should learn how to worship the deities from Jananivas Prabhu. And for several years, I was living in a mountain in America, and Jananivas Prabhu was 12,000 miles away in Mayapur Dham. I wasn't allowed to leave there. He wasn't allowed to leave here. But through letters. If you send a letter, it usually takes about a month for the letter to come back, if somebody replies promptly. So for several years we were exchanging letters, and he was like my pujari guru. And some years later, after I became sannyasi, somehow or other, I was allowed to return to India. And I came to Mayapur Dham for the first time. And one of the great highlights was I finally get to meet Jananivas Prabhu. Now, to meet in Vani is the essence. But still, that Vapu meeting is something very, very sacred and special and spiritual. So it was like a reunion of old, intimate friends who never met each other before. And every evening, he would come to my room. It was in the Lotus building. And he would bring me Mahaprasad, cookie prasad from Radha Madhav, and hot milk prasad. And we would talk about Krishna and Mayapur and Srila Prabhupada and Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, usually for a couple hours every night. And one night he came and we were talking for a couple hours. We were eating cookies and milk prasad together. And then at the end I said, "Thank you, Jananivas." And he said, "I'm not Jananivas, I'm Pankajangari." I was really confused. I said, "What does that mean?" And Pankajangari said, "You didn't know? I thought you were talking to me. All this time I thought you were talking to me. You weren't talking." I said, "I thought I was talking to Jananivas. Isn't that you?" He said, "No, Jananivas is my twin brother." And I didn't know there were twin brothers. And then every night when they came up, I had to ask who they were. But back to Chaitanya Leela. Srila Prabhupada described that the two primary principles to be followed in deity worship is cleanliness and punctuality. I lived in Vrindavan, so I was thinking, spontaneous love and bhava and all that. But if we want real bhava and love, and we have to cultivate the true spirit of devotion, that this is Krishna. Cleanliness and punctuality. And I heard Srila Prabhupada had said that each and every one of our temples should be, what was the word he used? Revolutionarily clean. Because it's for Krishna. And anyone who's coming to our temples, they are a guest of Krishna. So Madhai was establishing this standard. After he built the bathing ghat, very simple but very beautiful, very comfortable. Throughout the whole day, all day, he would just be keeping it clean for each person who came. The general public. And anybody who came, regardless of what their background was, with tears of sincerity and humility, he would offer his prostrated obeisances to everyone and offer them gifts and beg forgiveness for any offenses he may have knowingly or unknowingly ever committed to them. And everyone who came there, they all knew the background of Jagai and Madhai. His sincerity, his service attitude, his amanina manadena, his tremendous respect for everyone, he melted everyone's heart. They loved him. They respected him. Now here he is, he's a Paramahamsa. He's in the inner circle of the Lord's devotees. He's received the inconceivable mercy of the Lord that the demigods are glorifying him. But he's feeling he doesn't deserve any honor or respect oneself, but he felt deeply, spontaneously obliged to offer all respect to others. And I heard from Janani Vasprabhu, sometimes he caused so much pain to families, burning houses, killing everything, insulting, that sometimes when he would bow down and beg forgiveness from a member of the public, they were so angry with him. They picked up a rock and threw it at him. And the rock would hit him in the head. Madhai would very humbly pick up that rock and with all respect offer it back to the person's hand, and he'd say, please throw it again. I deserve more. And he did it with such genuine respect that even that person would put down the rock with their stone-like heart melting, and offered all love and respect to Madhai. Dinahina yata chilo harinama utari. There is a well-known story. Srila Prabhupada was at a temple, I believe it was Atlanta in the United States. And there were deities of Gaur Nitai. That were installed under the instruction, inspiration, and mercy of Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada seeing all these people from these foreign countries coming from such lost and ignorant spiritual backgrounds. Where sinful activities were actually considered to be great accomplishments. Seeing devotees surrendering to Gaur Nitai. So many little Jagais and Madhais. Srila Prabhupada, he chanted the bhajan of Lochan Das Thakur. Paramakaruna Pahundui Jana Nitai Gaura Chandra. Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda are supremely compassionate. They are the essence of all the avatars. As Srila Prabhupada was chanting about the supreme mercy of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, in the presence of those deities, he became speechless in ecstatic love. His mission in life, he had received the ecstatic love of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, was to be an instrument of their mercy. And perhaps there's tens or hundreds and thousands of Gaur Nitai deities now in homes and temples all over the world. The story of Jagai and Madhai is beloved by the hearts of the followers in the Gaudiya Parampara because it gives a visible, tangible, and truly historical glimpse into the extraordinary, limitless compassion that Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda Prabhu have come to give to the world. On that rooftop in Calcutta, when Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada gave that instruction to our Srila Prabhupada. Bring the message of Lord Chaitanya to the whole world in the English language. This is what Srila Prabhupada is giving us. We have come on this pilgrimage to receive that Parama Karuna. And the process Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda gave, Lord Chaitanya instructed actually what Lord Chaitanya instructed Lord Nityananda and Haridas to do was the same thing Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur instructed Srila Prabhupada to do. And it's the same thing that Srila Prabhupada is instructing all of us to do. Our supreme fortune is the legacy that we have been entrusted with. And each and every one of us, how seriously we're striving to be a humble servant of a servant and really take shelter of the message of Krishna, the names of Krishna, and the service of Krishna. That is how we will make spiritual advancement. And in giving, we receive. You and me, we may or not really personally feel for the suffering of all living beings. But Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda do. And all of our acharyas and our parampara do. And Srila Prabhupada, he demonstrated through his mercy to each of us how he does care about every living being. So in their service, for his pleasure, we are striving to create communities, to distribute books, to be living examples as far as we can, to inspire others to actually have faith in the path of bhakti or Krishna consciousness. It should come no surprise to us, although it could bring us much heartbreak, and sometimes there's confusions. When there's crisis, when there's disappointments. But a society of devotees is through it all. We're really striving to help each other to truly be happy in Krishna consciousness by keeping focused not on what Krishna consciousness isn't, but in what Krishna consciousness is. That is why it's so important to study Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, to discuss it one another, to distribute it among each other and with the world. Because nothing and no one could ever change the absolute truth. And the absolute truth is the infinite love of Radha and Krishna. The absolute truth is that how that infinite love is manifesting to this world through Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda and the great saints and avatars. And to be focused on that truth. Everything in this world changes. And death will inevitably come to each and every one of us and everything and everyone we love. That's material nature. But the truth, Jivara Swarupai Krishna Nityadas. Every soul is an eternal servant of Krishna. And the potential to love Krishna and the potential to be an instrument of Krishna's love is what we're seeking. Saragrahi means to seek the essence. In every situation, we want to share this joy, even in the midst of heartbreak, even in the midst of conflict, even in the midst of tragedy, and even in the midst when everything's going really nice. Ahoitaki apratihatat. Unmotivated, uninterrupted devotional service. We may not be there, but that's our goal. And that's what we're striving for. And that's what our communities are helping each other to ultimately achieve. Imagine Krishna. Every living entity in this material world practically is betraying him. But he's still trying to give that essence to us. So we've come to Mayapur on this wonderful pilgrimage. To be instruments, to find the happiness of Krishna consciousness within the service of the Lord and the devotees, and especially to share that with one another and empower one another. And when Srila Prabhupada and our acharyas would invite us to holy places for pilgrimage, only a few people who were really serving the mission would stay, and everyone else would become spiritually revived and have developed wonderful, wonderful lifelong friendships with people that they have never met before and who have restored or refreshed or reinvigorated spiritual friendships with those people who we may not have so much time for, even though they're our family members or neighbors. The purpose of a pilgrimage is to nourish us, to recharge us spiritually, so that we can go back to our homes, our places of residence, our ashrams, with restored, inspired faith and enthusiasm. I'm sorry, I went over time. I believe I was told about 12 or 13,000 people were coming each night. And by Lord Chaitanya's mercy, this pandal didn't just manifest through prayers. Throughout the year, devotees plan these things. Every detail. The first night, the sound system was not working so well. And I was thinking, because we were discussing the next day about Govardhan Puja, that Krishna was humbling the Indra of the department of sound system here. But it's not like all year they have practice. To take the responsibility and actually to take the risk of the huge embarrassment to create a sound system where 12 or 13,000 people could easily hear Hari Katha and Hari Kirtan. It's a tremendous amount of work. Building this pandal. Just a couple days before our yatra, there were rainstorms. And this whole area is a low area, kind of. And it was all really muddy. And you can't just put cloth on top of mud. So at the last minute, in a service to all of you, they had to change all the plans and had to create a wood floor. Under the cloth is a wood floor you're sitting on. Many of us may not be appreciating that we're sitting on a wood floor. But actually it took a tremendous amount of headaches and struggles and perhaps tears to make a nice yatra for all of you, to actually think of doing that and actually doing it. It's not that across the street from ISKCON Mayapur is a place where they sell wood floors for 13,000 people to sit on. Somehow or other they had to order, and trucks, I don't know what they did. And the lighting, we take it for granted. The yatra's only 7 or 8 days. But a huge amount of effort for weeks. And all the cooking. Weeks ago, I was at Govardhan Eco-Village. All these big pots and big stoves and everything else that goes into these yatras for the cooking kitchen. They keep it in storage there. And with huge trucks. It takes, I think, about 5 or 7 days for the trucks to bring all the pots and everything to wherever our yatra, our place, our pilgrimage is that year. And the kitchen, cooking for almost 10,000 people every day. Today I went to the kitchen, and there's hundreds of ladies every day for about 7 or 8 hours rolling and cooking chapatis. Not machines, they're just rolling and cooking. And there's one team, besides rolling and cooking the chapatis, there's one team, their service is counting every chapati. Because they want to make sure every devotee gets enough chapatis. And today, just in the morning, they cooked 18,000 chapatis. And they're just all sitting on the floor and all kinds of smoke everywhere and just happily cooking chapatis and chanting the holy names. And the brahmacharis, Gauranga Prabhu and Radha Ballabh Prabhu and Damodar Prabhu and all the other devotees, I'm afraid to say any names because I'll Radhe Shyam Prabhu and I'll forget other names. Making those recipes. Making each preparation for 10,000 people. With the pots and with bricks and mud, building the stoves. In an open, vacant field. Making such a kitchen. And you may have seen some of those pots, so many. And so many preparations. And cook with really such sincere love and devotion, with a desire to please all the devotees. They don't have to do that. As far as I know, of all these different parts of the yatra, and we're just, what to speak of finding accommodations for everyone, and Bhaktivedanta Hospital developing, medical care for everyone. And transportation, the buses, the roads, maybe the boats, I don't know what, everything. It takes a tremendous amount of energy. And as far as I know, of all these hundreds of devotees who are cooking and building pandals and transportation, accommodation, reception, everything else, nobody gets paid for anything. And Sanakumar Prabhu and Basudev Prabhu and Baladev Prabhu, they're like super organizing everything among, their team. I can say with all certainty, they only have one motivation. Nobody, probably less than 1% of the people here even know who's making all these arrangements and who's working so hard to offer it. Their only motivation is to give you a very spiritually enriching, happy experience of coming to this holy place. To give you an opportunity, give us an opportunity to hear the glories of the Lord, to chant the names and glories of the Lord, to see the beautiful darshan of the deities of the Lord, to be enriched and blessed by the holy places of the Lord's pastimes, to be inspired to offer our prayers, and to be happy. That's their only motivation, to give all of us a very happy, comfortable, possible experience. And some of us may have been troubled coming over Bengali roads and travel and everything, but these devotees have to bring everything with them. So there are so many devotees who have truly given their hearts and their souls to make offerings, to make this yatra possible. And sometimes if we're inviting important guests to our home, we're very nervous about it for like weeks before. Can you imagine? It's not your home. You're going somewhere else, and you're trying to create a home for 10,000 people to come. And in case there's storming rains and winds, which there usually are in our yatras, have to make a pandal where everyone's safe and dry and transcendental. and they're worshiping these deities very nicely on the altar here. Yes, I want to personally thank each and every devotee who has offered so much of their hearts and their lives to make this yatra possible. And I want to sincerely thank every devotee who has come, because the whole goal of our whole yatra committee is simply to make you happy. And if you come and you're happy, then we have achieved our goal and all of our desires. And on a personal level, and also on behalf of all the devotees organizing and participating in the offering of this yatra, we beg forgiveness for any shortcomings or inconvenience or mistakes we may have made. For all those devotees who've manifested this wonderful facility and all these services. It's really special because if you really work and invest so much time and energy and planning and hard work and trying to somehow or other get other people to cooperate to do it, if you're building something that seems to be permanent, there's a certain type of experience. But all this is done. The whole kitchen, the whole kirtan hall, and everything else that's been done here. Tomorrow, it will all be gone. It's all done just for 8 days of serving the Vaishnavas. But yet they start planning, they're going to start planning next year's yatra tomorrow. Driving here a couple hours ago I'm staying at the Brahmacharya Ashram. Sanat Kumar Prabhu and Baladev Prabhu came to drive me in car to the Pandal. And they were asking me about plan making for next year's yatra. And I said, please let us not start making plans till after the kirtan tonight. But after the kirtan tonight, the plan making will begin and the organization. And my humble experience is those who are working behind the scenes, hundreds and hundreds, doing very either brilliant organizational services or very simple menial services. They're the most happy people in the yatra because what is their happiness? They're united together to make all of us happy. So if you want to reciprocate and make all these devotees who are really, really struggling and straining to serve you, if you want them to be happy, all you have to do is be happy. And I cannot tell you how grateful we all are to the Mayapur community of ISKCON. Under the inspiration of His Holiness Srila Jagai Swami Maharaj. He has been inspiring the whole community that each and every devotee who comes for this yatra, welcome them as Krishna's special guests. Because his magnanimous, merciful heart, that is just who he is, by Srila Prabhupada and Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda's mercy. And the whole management and leadership and the community of Mayapur, all the devotees here, how much they have facilitated and encouraged and cooperated. There's not that many ISKCON communities that, yes, bring 10,000 people and stayed for 10 days and we'll provide for you. But there has been such a beautiful, congenial and loving spirit of magnanimity and generosity of the whole Mayapur ISKCON community. And for that, we are sincerely grateful. Let us offer our gratitude. And your gratitude will be Srila Prabhupada and Krishna's blessings upon all of these devotees who have worked so hard. And let us express it by very enthusiastically and loudly chanting 3 times Hari Bol. And to my beloved, esteemed God brothers and God sisters who have come, I'm afraid to say names because if I forget one, I'll feel very guilty. But I'm seeing Jyotirmayi Devi and Mandakini Devi and Dinatarani Devi and Malati Devi and many others. And my God brothers, Chandramauli Swami Maharaj and Pancharatna Prabhu, Jananivas Prabhu, and all others, they have come as Srila Prabhupada's representatives to encourage us, to bless us by their sacred presence. Each one of them have surrendered their hearts, their souls, their lives through all sunny and stormy days throughout the decades in Srila Prabhupada's service. And I'm forever grateful to each and every one of you. Let us offer our sincere gratitude by loudly chanting Hari. And I know you don't want to say Hari Bol for yourself, but to everyone around you who have come, because you are the ones who have ultimately made this whole yatra possible. And we give personal gratitude to every devotee. If I was Ananta Shesha, I could say all of your names. But my heart is offering gratitude to each and every one of you. So to everyone else who's sitting beside you, let us offer our gratitude. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.